If you're in healthcare today, you know the feeling. You're constantly being pulled in two completely opposite directions. On one hand, you've got to maximize the volume of services. On the other, you're supposed to deliver incredible value and outcomes. This isn't just a small challenge. It's a massive conflict baked right into the system. So today, we're going to break down exactly why this is happening and, more importantly, how you can actually manage it without going crazy.
So, does this feel familiar at all? You're doing everything you can to give your patients the best possible care, but you're literally caught between two different payment systems with totally different rules. It's the reality for so many practices right now, and it creates this constant friction in your day-to-day operations.
What this really means is you're playing the same game, but with two completely different rulebooks. One rulebook rewards you for the quantity of stuff you do. The other one, which is where everything is headed, rewards you for the quality of your patient's health. Let's take a closer look at this divide, because it's a big one.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. Fee-for-service, or FFS, is all about volume. It pays you for every single thing you do. But value-based care, or VBC, is all about outcomes. It pays you for how well you keep your patients healthy. It's a fundamental clash, a real tug-of-war between quantity and quality.
All right, so let's start with the one we all know, the traditional model that still runs so much of the healthcare world and probably shapes most of your daily workflows. Good old fee-for-service.
In the simplest terms, fee-for-service is a totally transactional system. Think of it like a restaurant menu, right? An office visit, a lab test, a procedure. Each one is its own little line item with its own code and its own price. And at the end, you get a final bill based on everything you did.
Now look, there's a reason this model has stuck around for so long. It is pretty straightforward, which creates a predictable revenue stream. And yeah, by rewarding volume, it definitely encourages patients to have access to a lot of different services. On the surface, it makes a certain kind of sense. But the downsides are pretty huge. And here is the big but. The model's main incentive is just to do more, not necessarily to do better. There's not really a built-in financial reward for focusing on preventing illness or managing a patient's health over the long haul. And sometimes that can lead to tests and procedures that might not have been totally necessary. And then, the paperwork. My gosh, every single service has to be coded, documented, and justified. This creates a mountain of administrative work which leads to billing errors, claim denials, and just countless hours spent on stuff that takes you away from actually caring for patients. And finally, this model makes it incredibly difficult to coordinate care, especially for your patients with chronic conditions. They're the ones who need that constant, proactive support. But the FFS system, it's just not built for that. It's built around one-off encounters, not continuous, ongoing management. That coordination challenge is the #1 reason the whole industry is shifting. So let's turn our attention to this new model, which is built on a completely different idea of what care should be. So this industry-wide shift to value-based care is really designed to fix all those flaws we just talked about in fee-for-service, especially for chronic conditions, where that proactive management is just everything. But here's the real problem for you. You're being asked to succeed in this new outcome-focused world, while most of your revenue is still tied to the old volume-focused one. It's a tough spot.
So how on earth can a practice possibly manage both of these opposing models at the exact same time? How do you optimize for volume, which FFS demands, while also delivering that coordinated, outcome-driven care that VBC requires? Well, the answer really lies in technology that's been built to solve this exact problem. To see how tech is tackling this, let's take a look at how an AI-powered care management platform, like this one called Clini, is designed to bridge that gap. The whole goal of systems like this is to let you operate efficiently and, really importantly, profitably in both worlds at the same time.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. How does an approach like this actually work in a real practice? Well, platforms like this usually streamline everything through a pretty clear 4-step process that touches every single part of the care and the revenue cycle.
So think of this process as a continuous loop, right? It starts by connecting to the patient data you already have, then it uses that data to enroll and manage patients way more effectively. And it closes the loop by making sure you actually capture all the revenue you've earned. Let's walk through each one of these steps.
First up, EHR linking. Now, a key feature here is seamless integration with tons of EHRs, syncing all that patient data in real time. What this actually means for your team is no new systems to learn, no more duplicate data entry, and way fewer disruptions to your workflow. It just works inside the system you already use every day. Next is patient enrollment.
The AI here automates the most painfully time-consuming parts of intake. It can instantly verify if a patient is eligible for programs like chronic care management and even helps build out personalized care plans, which, as you know, dramatically cuts down on the administrative work for your team.
Now we get to the core of it, care management. The platform is actively looking for and helping you close care gaps. It automates all those repetitive tasks that just burn out your staff, it improves communication tools, and it gives you real-time actionable insights so you can actually focus your attention on the patients who need you the most right now.
And finally, revenue management. This is where it all directly hits your bottom line. The system automates the whole CPT code selection and billing process for these care management services. It flags revenue opportunities you might have missed otherwise, and it makes sure every single claim is compliant and accurate.
So, what does this all add up to in the real world? Well, the results from practices that are using this kind of system they're pretty striking. The numbers really do speak for themselves. First off, a 92% claim approval rate. I mean, just stop and think about what that means for a second. Fewer denials, way less time spent chasing down payments, and just a much healthier, more predictable revenue cycle. That's huge.
And on top of that, practices are seeing an average 30% increase in revenue recovery. That's because the platform is like having a second set of eyes, constantly identifying and helping you capture income that was just slipping through the cracks before.
Now, this chart is what really paints the picture of the time savings. We're talking about an 80% reduction in manual tasks and an 85% reduction in billing errors. That is a massive amount of administrative headache just lifted right off your team's shoulders, freeing them up to do what they actually came here to do: take care of patients.
So in the end, this is about way more than just efficiency. It's about how every single streamlined process means more time, more moments spent where they truly matter most, with your patients. And as technology like AI continues to automate the business side of medicine, it really leaves us with a bigger question. How will all this newfound freedom allow you to redefine the art of patient care?